joke, I've been a money maker. I've been a record breaker, taking credit as an educator. I've been known to spit the flows and make it shaky, shaky thing. Popping, locking, stopping, let it hang. Watch us as we drop this hip hop, it's like it stings. We make the whole room drop and everybody sing. We want the funk. We gotta have that funk. We kick it old school, we think we're so cool. We take it back to the past, we gon' act a fool. Up jumps the middle finger, make my gig adjust.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Sports Buzz, a Fanatical View. I am your host, Scott D. Lewis, here live in studio, Comcast Cable, Channel 23, downtown Denver, Connecticut, on this January 23rd. The month just keeps moving by. The decade, it's almost over. Oh, wait, no, it's just the first month. Sorry, I was just jumping the gun on that. Not a bad day out there. It's still a little cold. Cold mornings. Super cold in the mornings. I think it's going to warm up some this weekend, but rain, maybe snow. We got our eyes on it. Who knows what's going to happen with the
teens this morning.
Yeah, I don't know. Was it below 10 to start the day?
Yeah,
then?
it was.
I think it was still
Well,
another
the wind
below
chill was
10.
like about 4.
Right. It's been cold to start the day, that's for sure, all week. But overall, winter hasn't been brutal, so we won't complain too much. Let's say hello officially to my right-hand man, Mr. Bob Raw Jr.
Hi, Scott.
How you doing, Bob? I know it's a tough week for the
yeah,
Westerners and the
not
family of all the Danbury Westerners.
Yeah, it's been kind of hard this week.
Tough week for sure. And we also have Mike, the Met Maniac, Jet Fanatic, over here in the shot as well. Hello there, Mike. How you doing?
Scott?
Good to see you after a few weeks away. That work schedule is a killer, we know.
Yes, it is.
But yes, so this week, we lost two greats, two old-time baseball guys, two old-time Westerner guys, long-time contributors to that organization, Jack Deering and Bill Polian. Both passed away this week. Did they pass away on the same day?
No, Bill passed away on Monday, and Jack passed away last night.
Oh, Jack passed away last night. Wow.
Yeah.
Jack, I know from my interviews with him and my interactions with him down at the field, and we're going to have to dig up the archives, look through that. We had some great experiences talking to him for some of the old Denver Westerners shows.
Yes.
We've had him on Sports Buzz here, where we interviewed him down at the field and put some of those clips up in the shows here. And, just a great guy. I remember the one long interview we did, one of them that we did was nurse appreciation.
Yes.
And he just went on and on about his wife who was a nurse.
Yep. And he has the Carol M. Deering at Danbury Hospital.
Right.
For any nurses and stuff, so.
Yeah, the fund or whatever that is, foundation.
Yeah.
So a long-lasting legacy through his wife and her name, and also he was a great deal of that. And then Bill, of course, an old-time baseball guy too.
Yeah, Bill has been around for forever. He worked for News Times for most of his career. He was an Army vet. Jack was an Air Force vet.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Bill raised over $1 million for the Jimmy Fund, which is for Dana-Farber cancer for kids.
Right.
He was a huge Red Sox fan.
Yeah, well, the Red Sox and Jimmy Fund have a great relationship.
Yeah.
And Bill was also a big hand in, the Little League sports and stuff.
Yes, youth baseball, especially Bethel, he was very well big into that.
Did both of those guys, or one of them at least, win the award at the Westerners Breakfast?
Both did.
Both of them did.
Yeah. Both won the Siri Award.
So the Siri
we actually
Award.
had a night for Bill for his accomplishments for the Jimmy Fund and for many other things.
So those are probably in some episodes as well.
Yes, I have those in archives. I have to dig them up.
Yeah, and we had the one interview where we had them come in, where we had Jack come in and sit down with Gil Black.
Yes.
And we talked to him, Gil Black, a former Negro League player.
Yes.
We had a great conversation with those guys about some old-time baseball and just thoughts on modern baseball as well.
Because Jack was a scout for the Giants. He was a scout for the St. Louis Cardinals. So.
Yeah, a guy who knew baseball, had been around it his whole life. Both those guys just contributing to the world around them. Giving back to the community always. Trying to help the young kids, young players find their way and all that. So they're going to be greatly missed. They do leave a legacy, which is great that they had the ability to leave behind things as well. So they won't be forgotten anytime soon, and there's things in their names that'll be around to help keep them, the memory of them going. An event this weekend, which would be something right up their alley, Live Life to the Max.
Yes.
Which is a baseball clinic over
at
the Danbury Dome on Sunday.
Yes, from 9 to 11.
9 to 11.
Yep.
You know, those guys wouldn't be strangers to an event like that. So if you're looking for something to do with your kids this weekend, head over to the Dome, Live Life to the Max on a Sunday afternoon. So definitely a tough week for the Westerners and the Westerners family. They lost last year. They lost a couple.
Yes.
It was like the same thing where two big guys went down.
Yeah, we lost Terry and we lost Mike.
Right.
Terry Whale and Mike Malone. So
some big guns going down.
We'll have 4 Angels in the outfield.
That's true. We will. And the field's being worked on, as a matter of fact, right?
Yes.
Which is good. To shift gears, we will mention we are here live, 203-792-4101. We're also live on Facebook if you want to follow along that way.
Have we ever heard anything from the Strange One lately?
He's been completely MIA since before Christmas. He went into evil strange man mode, bah humbug, and that was the last messages I got from him. He said the gift he got me, he sold on eBay.
So we have no stats.
Give it to me instead.
We don't have no stats of the week.
He's out. Strange man, he's in hibernation.
And Tyler's not here tonight due to the scores.
I know. We did the scores of the week last week. I'm going to have to do the scores of the week this week. I mean, we gave him a shot last week. He did pretty good. I mean, I did a good job for filling in for him 2 weeks ago when we tried to start that bit.
He's in working.
I hope I don't do too good a job again this week. I mean, he's going to just keep putting more pressure on him. I can't hold back, Bob. When I do it, I got to do it. You know.
Hey, it is what it is, right?
I am going to mention also former Evil director Kevin Gallagher, of course, thrilled about his Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl. I'm sure he drove that home real well. I got a random text from him last night. KC wins Super Bowl. This is what I've been getting from him. I'm like, did they play the game already?
Yeah.
Is it over?
Did I miss something?
But yeah, he's been texting. I am going to be on his show next week doing an Oscar preview show. And then we'll probably have him on.
The Olivers.
Yeah, what was our other former director, Mike Toohey? Was it the Olivers?
The Olivers, yes.
Right. His take on the Oscars. So the Super Bowl is set, and it is San Francisco versus Kansas City. KC back in it for the first time in 50 years.
That's a long drought.
And KC opens as a 1.5-point favorite. The line got bet down to even, I think, at one point, but it's back up, I believe, at 1.5. I don't know. I'm a little surprised KC's the favorite. What do you guys think about that?
Up.
Yeah, Green Bay got pounded. Well, speaking of lines and gambling, remind me to remember this stat.
Okay.
Teams that have played in the regular season and one team, blew that team out by a wide margin to rematch in the playoffs. Whoa.
What was that?
Teams are, as the graphic machine goes nuts, those teams are 9-0 in the rematch. So if a team we were trying to figure out what did that game mean in Week 12 when the Packers got blown out by San Fran? Would they come back and be able to figure it out? They just played them. Was that an aberration? What? Historically speaking, no. In the rematches in the playoffs, teams are 9-0 if they blew out a team in the regular season and they faced them again.
Has the Niners ever played the Chiefs?
Not in the Super Bowl, no. Chiefs only been there twice. Let's go through the history because I got a bunch of it. And there we see the history right there. Dwight Clark and the catch started it all for San Francisco. Actually, before we get to the history, I do want to just get general thoughts. What do you guys think about KC being the favorite?
Not really. I think it would be more the opposite.
I was surprised.
Yeah, I was too, actually.
Yeah, I thought maybe San Fran has been the more
too.
dominant team of the
San
year,
Fran
right?
would have a better
record. They were start to finish this year. A little surprising. All right, history has it, though. 1982, it all started with the catch. The Niners won in 82, 85, 89, 90, 95, losing in 12. But the first one was against the Bengals, 26-21. Their first time beating, their first Super Bowl championship was first of two that they ended up beating the Bengals. So they took care of Cincy in that first go-round, and we first got to see Joe Cool, Montana, getting it done for San Francisco as they finally broke through against the Cowboys. Really had kept them down for a few years, and then Dwight Clark made the catch. Second one was 85 against the Dolphins, and I think most people thought this might be a matchup we'd see a few more times. Marino, his first trip to the Super Bowl, he was a rookie, I believe.
Yeah,
it was definitely early in his career, right? But that turned out to be Marino's only trip, and they lost 38-16 to San Francisco, and that was that for Dan Marino, who many still think was the greatest quarterback, as far as physical talents, ability to throw the ball. And then it was back against Cincinnati, 20-16. This is the game that's remembered mostly for the 92-yard drive in the final 3 minutes when San Fran took the field down in this game, 16-13, and they drove it. And Taylor made the game-winning catch in the end zone, and that was Boomer Esiason's only trip. This game also known for Stanley Wilson. Not the first time, but maybe it was the first time we saw a player have some partying go on the night before. Later years we had, who was the guy for the Raiders? The lineman who disappeared into Mexico, tequila binge or something.
Yeah.
And then also we had, unfortunately, Eugene Robinson and the Falcons.
Right.
Having a little bit too much fun with the ladies, perhaps, the Catholic man that he is. But Stanley Wilson, 80s, cocaine's a hell of a drug. And Stanley Wilson got caught up, and he was out in that game. So they didn't get the 1-2 punch with him in the Icky Shuffle, of course. The next one for the Niners was 1990, beating the Broncos. Remember, the Broncos lost 3 times in the Super Bowl. This one, they got pounded in 55-10.
That was the Elway versions, right?
Yeah, this was Elway before Elway finally got back and won the last 2 of his career. He did get the beating many times. I think the Simpsons did a bit on this at one point in their show about the Broncos versus anybody in the Super Bowl losing always. 55-10. Ouch. Then it was finally Steve Young's turn to win it for the Niners in 95, doing against the Chargers. Now, this was the first time ever a team lost the first 4 games of a season and made it to the Super Bowl. That was San Diego.
Right.
They started that year 0-4, and they somehow got their act together and made it in, only to lose to Steve Young and San Francisco 49-26. And that was Young's first Super Bowl victory. As for whatever reason, our boy David is hung up on this John Elway shot. Let's move it along there, David. Come on now.
Come on, David, move it.
So they were the first team to get to 5 Super Bowl victories. They passed the Steelers with this win. They were both tied at 4. They've since been passed by the Patriots since then. And the Steelers probably, how many do the Steelers have now? Are they at 5 or are they at 6?
6, I think.
I know they had the one with Big Ben.
Because they had one with...
But they lost, I think, the other ones that they got to. They lost to the Cowboys.
I'm thinking 6 too, actually.
Yeah.
I think it is 6.
Yeah.
4, of course,
4
in the
with
70s.
In the 70s, and then we didn't have none in the 80s.
They lost that one to the Cowboys in the early 90s.
And Roethlisberger's won it twice.
Yes.
Roethlisberger's won it twice.
Yeah, right.
All right, so that would mean 6
Right.
for the Steelers. And then they finally lost one to Baltimore, 34-31 in 2012. Now, this game was known, of course, for the famous lights out, blackout at halftime, coming out of halftime. What did David say was the reason?
David, what was the reason?
Beyonce's booty, I think it was what he said.
Booty was too big, so it went up.
And the second half rally, because they were down. San Fran was down 28-6. They got stopped at the goal line at the end of that game to win it. The other thing that this game took place in this game, and I can't believe it's been this long ago, but remember the Sandy Hook kids.
Yes.
were at that for the national anthem.
Anthem, yeah.
Or was it at halftime they parked them in? I think it was the national
No,
anthem.
they did the national anthem.
And there we see, the Fedigan
Right.
family from Danbury. One of
Yes.
their daughters, I can see her in this shot, was there with the kids. Maybe two of their daughters. The Fedigans have a big, huge family, Irish
Right.
family from Danbury. You can catch them down at the Irish Club pretty much any time.
Mm-hmm.
But their kids were probably 4th and 5th grade, maybe. They were at Sandy Hook
Right.
the day of. And they were part of the group of kids that went down for that ceremony, which was obviously an emotional happening for everybody in the country, but especially for people around this area. Kansas City's history, a little different. So 50 years ago, they won it, the 4th Super Bowl in 1970. They were in the first Super Bowl against Green Bay. Now, of course, the Chiefs started as the Dallas Texans in 1960.
Yeah, that we're going way back for that.
Yep, and they moved to Kansas City in '63. Lamar Hunt and the Hunt family, he was the one who dubbed the championship game when the merger happened between the AFL and NFL the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So the Chiefs owner was the one who dubbed it the Super Bowl. They lost that first Super Bowl to Green Bay 35-10. And then in the first ever incident of somebody being mic'd up on the sideline, Hank Stram,
Right.
the coach for Green Bay, you've seen that in NFL films many times.
Yes, we have.
When they went back in 1970 and beat the favored Vikings 23-7. They became the second AFL team to win behind your Jets there, Mike, after Joe Willie Namath got it done against the Colts the year before. KC backed it up, and that pretty much solidified the AFL and, became the AFC, NFC. And from then on, it's been, back and forth. There was that long stretch in the 80s to 90s when the NFC dominated, including San Fran's wins, Dallas in the early 90s. And it was the Broncos who broke that against the Packers in 97. But that was a long stretch. Did that run like 14 straight years or something like that?
Yeah.
It was pretty long.
Yeah.
So that's who's in. That's their history. It's San Francisco against not Green Bay, against Kansas City. The championship games, the first game was pretty good for the first half. The second half got away from Tennessee a little bit. Really not until the fourth quarter. They took the 10-0 lead, 17-7 lead.
Right.
KC got the offense going, the big pass to Tyreek Hill, and then the run by Mahomes down the sideline in the 2-minute drill right before halftime gave them the lead at 21-17. But the third quarter was a shutout. Neither team scored there, and you were waiting for Tennessee and Derrick Henry to get it going. He had 60-something yards in the first half, ended with 69, so he did not get going in the second half at all. I thought they went away from him a little bit. They had a couple 3-and-outs. They had that one possession after KC took the 28-17 lead where they had a play action where they converted, and it looked like they might get the start of a drive, and they didn't go to Henry there. They passed.
Right.
And a couple untimely penalties hurt them, and they never got it going. So he only had, I think, 2 yards in the second half. So his run ends, and we're going to go back a little bit more into history. 182 yards he had against the Patriots, plus 30 carries. 195 yards against the Ravens, plus 30 carries. We mentioned this last week. The only other guy to have something similar to this, 30-plus carries and gaudy rushing totals, was John Riggins, the Diesel, Riggo. So let's get Riggins his due. In 1982, it started with only 25 carries, 119 yards against the Lions in a win. Then he gets 37 carries, 185 yards, 1 touchdown against the Vikings. Against Dallas in the championship game, 36 carries, 140 yards, 2 touchdowns. In the Super Bowl, 38 carries, 166 yards, 1 touchdown. And here we see the fourth down play, which is, I think, ended up being ranked 11th all-time NFL moment in the 100th anniversary where they've been releasing things. I could say that'd be even higher than 11. I mean, you think about the Super Bowl and you think about big moments. 4th down play, he comes through the line and just buries that guy and runs for the touchdown. It's not that he gets the first down.
Right.
He then goes, 35, 40 yards on that play for the touchdown? Unbelievable play. I remember that clearly, clear as day. What a moment. So the Titans couldn't get it done. Their Cinderella story ends with the loss to KC, and Green Bay
They never showed the first half. They were
didn't
asleep.
show up at all. They were out of it early. They scored some points in the second half, but what's the point of that? It was all dumped. How about this guy, Raheem Mostert, who's on like his 5th team, running back for San Francisco, 220 yards, 4 touchdowns in this game. And what about the discount double check, Rodgers? 2 fumbles and 2 interceptions in this game. Not so good for Rodgers. They lose. They get blown out. Andy Reid gets back to the Super Bowl 2nd time. Not many coaches have gone with 2 different. I didn't look that stat up. How many guys have brought 2 different teams?
Yeah, that's a very good question.
I wouldn't think many. Parcells, the Giants and the Patriots.
Right. Because he did Parcells with Patriots and Giants.
Yeah. I don't know. Who else would have done that? Holmgren with the Packers and Seattle. Remember that one ill-fated Seattle, mentioned the Steelers.
Right.
That was the game that a lot of people think was one of the most poorly officiated jobs, really. That was Holmgren in that one. So he went twice. I don't know, just free-balling off the top of my head here. But that's that. And then the other interesting thing I would say, how about this for just a little, we'll give this the strange stat of the week.
Okay.
San Fran, both their wins against NFC Central in the playoffs, and KC takes care of the AFC South. A little oddity in the playoffs, the way that went down. All right, let's get to Tyler's bit, scores of the week. Tyler, come right in. All right, Tyler's not here. AFC Championship game, Kansas City outlasts Tennessee 35-24. NFC Championship game, San Francisco runs over Green Bay 37-20. College hoops, UConn loses to old rival number 9 Villanova 61-55. Number 6 Louisville beats number 8 Duke. Down goes Duke 79-73. NBA action, MLK Day games. Celtics destroy the Fake Show 139-107. The Sixers beat the Nets 117-111. Knicks pound Cavs 106-86. The Thunder stun the Rockets 112-107. Jazz out-tune the Pacers 118-88. On the ice, Bruins blow another 3-goal lead, lose to the Penguins 4-3. Boston bounces back, though, with a 3-2 win over Vegas. Islanders get back at the Rangers 4-2. Rangers also lose to the Blue Jackets 2-1, and Hurricanes storm by the Islanders in a 2-1 shootout win. Those are the scores from the week. All right, not too bad, Tyler. Did pretty good.
Good question. Can we talk a little bit baseball?
Yeah, let's mention baseball. So we didn't get Mike's take on
what do you think, Mike?
sign stealing. Before the show, he says, "What do you think? Houston should
out of this mess?
Give up their the rings and the championship." I think that might be going a little far. I don't see that happening. But what do you think about your manager situation? Only the Mets could get caught up in this when they weren't even caught up in it.
Yes, 77 days and done.
Never even got to manage a game, Beltran.
They never. I mean, they didn't really do an in-depth search to get a manager. I mean, it seemed like he was like the quickest fix to get it done, because I guess they were looking at the fact that spring training is like 3 weeks away.
You're saying they didn't take too much time now to get Luis Rojas.
Yeah, Rojas. Now Rojas is
I don't think you have much time.
Son, right?
Yeah.
So he should be.
Yeah, the Alou family.
Yeah.
Right.
But I mean, not to even bring in Buck Showalter to talk with him. I mean, that's
They
pretty.
had to make a quick decision. I kind of think it's not a bad idea. He's been in the organization.
Right.
Felipe Alou, a great manager. Moises Alou, his brother, a great
he's got
player.
great bloodlines.
Good
absolutely.
bloodlines. I think they want these Latino managers are popular. He also was in the minor league system with your boy Alonso, right?
He was. Yep.
So he's familiar with the organization, and in a situation like this where you have to do something quick,
Right.
it's just a tough deal.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know that they had much option. I mean, I know the Red Sox are looking internally as well.
Well, they
Jason
said,
Varitek might get the
They
job.
said the Red Sox said they were going to talk to Dusty Baker, and they were going to talk to.
They might.
And talk to. Bucky.
Buck
Because
Showalter?
either one of them would be a perfect fit.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't know. Going from Cora to Showalter wouldn't be great. Baker, I love. I'd take him any day. But Varitek is right there too, and he's been
Right.
long sought after for Red Sox fans.
Plus, we got Hall of Fame.
Jeter,
Yes.
the
He
captain.
missed by one.
Yeah. Well, those baseball Raiders always do that. They're never going to let. Well, Mariano just did it. He was the only guy. But Jeter's in, and Larry Walker gets in.
And Larry Walker gets in.
Three-time batting champion,
Yep.
7-time Gold Glove. His
Kurt
numbers.
Schilling missed by 6 votes.
Was it only 6? Huh? So
Only
he's getting
6.
much closer.
He had 70. He had 70. He needed 6.
A lot of people think he'll get in next year now. That he's
Possible.
gotten that close. Clemens and Bonds are up to 60%.
I still think that's going to be a long drought.
That jump from 60 to how much? What's the percentage? 70 something.
75, I think.
75.
Yeah.
They still got a little ways to go, but maybe. So, yeah, who knows what'll happen. But Jeter's in. It's not a surprise at all. College basketball, I just want to mention a couple things. That was a tough loss for the Huskies, another one, but we're tired of these tough losses. They need to break through. They're at number 25, Houston, tonight. They're 10-7. Houston's 14-4. Just playing these games close, that's not the UConn legacy. You play these games close and win. Gonzaga keeps winning and winning big, yet they dropped to number 2. How does the number 1 team fall to number 2 when they won by 30 points in 2 of their games? Baylor's the new number 1, and how about that brawl?
We have 1 minute.
Bad look in Kansas State. Ouch.
have a
And it
minute
was great
left.
to see the Celtics smack down the fake show and Bron. The Lakers opened that game 8-0, and Bron was in full showboat mode.
Oh.
He's like dancing, throwing no-look passes into the third row. All turnovers, by the way.
Of course.
He thought they were going to come out and just, blow out the Lakers, and Jaylen Brown had nothing to do. He set the tone early, and then he posterized Bron right here. We got that shot right there. So that was great. They destroyed them in that game. And obviously I hate the Lakers and I hate Bron, but his showboating in the first minute of that game,
Right.
2 minutes, was pathetic, especially since all the showboats went for turnovers. It was ridiculous. All right, I think we're out of time.
We got about 30 seconds.
30 seconds. Well, I was out of time. All right, well, we'll just say rest in peace, of course,
To our two.
to our two Westerner guys, Jack Deering and Bill Polian. Any early predictions on the Super Bowl for you guys?
I think
San Fran's gonna
myself.
get them all
I would like to see San Francisco.
I think San Fran's going to be tough to beat.
I tell you, it's going to be really good because you look at San Francisco's defense against that offense, and Pat Mahomes has just been such a beast this year. I don't know. It's going to be close.
Credits are rolling.
So we're out. Take care.
Yeah.
See you next week.